Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today we're going to be looking at, how many packs have I got? 4 packs of Empress Miniatures 28mm late war World War II British Infantry. I intend to paint some up as a squad. Steve Sanford, you better be right. And sell them. It was a toss-up between their range of this, their Zulu range, or Zulu British range, and I'm going like that because they're over there, and I thought of doing some ECW, English Civil War. Again, just to sell, but I love the Empress Miniatures ranges on the whole. It's really well sculpted, and they have a very sharp turnaround. They're easy to deal with. I have no connection to Empress whatsoever. I just enjoy their figures. So as usual, it gives me something I can paint, and then hopefully bring some money back in to pay bills. So we'll have a look at those in a minute. Before I go on, I just wanted to thank all the kind people that answered my 40k question. I genuinely don't ask questions as like some, what do they call it, clickbait or whatever. If I'm asking a question on anything, it was Napoleonics the week before, if it's a question I'm asking, I genuinely just need some help with some answers. And I had a load of people, well, a lot of people anyway, right, a few people, but they were all I needed. They just got drilled down into it and say, you needed to do that, not needed to do it, but this is what this means, blah, 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 blah. And there were a good few of my regular Maras that just said, sorry Gav, can't help you. But they still put a comment down. I thought that was brilliant. You know, they didn't have to do that, but they still did. So thank you very much to all the people that took the time out to either say, this is my answer, Gav, or I'm sorry I can't help you. But the interaction was fantastic, and I really appreciate that. So cheers. Yeah, we'll go down to look at these. Are all what I call in the raw, so I've not cleaned them, as in filed any mould lines off, things like that. I've seen them painted, I've seen them in the raw on the websites and that, and they really are, I believe, exactly as I've expected them to be. Paul Hicks has sculpted them, I believe, who does the Vietnam range that I love. And he's very good, in my opinion, this isn't technical words, but of taking them out of an old black and white photograph and making them real. Now, I'm not saying they're copied directly from black and white photographs, but they have that feel that he's looked at an old Pathé News film of Brits in Northern Holland, Netherlands, and Germany, towards the end of the war, in the Ardennes. Brits were in the Ardennes, as well, and I'm going to stop in there because I can't remember exactly where in the Ardennes. But we came in when obviously the American divisions were under pressure. No, I don't believe Montgomery, as he so proudly proclaimed, won the Battle of the Bulge. No, but Brits were involved in the Battle of the Bulge. So you can use them for all that type of thing. Now these have been sculpted with the leather jerkins on, so like leather waistcoat that the Brits wore a fair bit, and a camouflage windproof smock. I can't remember if they had trousers or if they just had the battle dress trousers. I'm going to have to look that up. Now when I looked, I'd never seen, I'll be fair, I'd never seen a camouflage windspread smock before. Not to be confused with the denizens that the airborne divisions wore. It's just like a windproof smock with a hood, and it's because I've seen lots of photographs, and I didn't realise these guys, if you don't see the hood bit, you know, ruckled up at the back, because of the nature of the photographs, you don't actually see the very mottled camouflage. It's there, and it's just not very sharp. So in all the years that I've seen Brits in those, I never even realised of some of them. I was looking at smocks, so I found that really interesting. So I didn't want to do any Vietnam to sell. I'm keeping the figures I've got, I'm keeping myself, and I wanted to keep that distinct, if that makes sense. I did fancy the English Civil War range, but I fancied doing some smaller units first, just to see if as I said to you, I was bumping my gums the other day, and I still hold to it. I'm not getting financial return for the work I'm putting into them, and I absolutely agree I'm not a top name painter, but my stuff's going a lot cheaper than I need it to go. Yes, it's a what somebody wants to pay for it, absolutely, but it doesn't help me pay the bills, or help me give my money to help my wife pay the bills. She's the main breadwinner. So yeah, I'm going to try and paint a few small units. However, after I bought these, I just put Empress Miniatures in eBay, and nothing really came up apart from some odds and sods. But then, British word, so only some bits and pieces. 2 packs of English Civil War musketeers firing on the rest, and I put the watch it type of thing, and I thought there's no way that they're going to go, and they were asking more or less, I think it was £7.99, something like that. So more or less you're paying £1. Empress go for 4 figures for about £8, and he was asking at the time, he was on a bid, so he was hoping to go up. I felt sorry for him because I have enough of this myself when I'm trying to sell stuff. Anyway, I got 2 packs for the price of 1, more or less. So I was the only one that bid. It got to 2 hours, and it said, "Oh, you know, this is coming up soon. Do you want to make a bid on it?" I thought, "Oh, why not? I'm not going to get it, but let's give it a go." Put me bid down, which was just for 1 pack. I think it went for £9 or something like that. And I thought, I'm not going any higher because I've got these Brits. I don't need to be painting anything else at the moment or trying to sell anything else. And lo and behold, I won the bid. So I'm going to show you them, just because it's a different video. Hey, why do them all in one go when you can make loads of videos? I'll do them on a video again, 2 packs, so it won't take long. Lovely figures again, different sculptor, and I do know the guy's name. Although I think I know the guy's name, but if I get it wrong, I might put the wrong sculptor to the wrong figures, if that makes sense. So I won't. I will try and remember and give the sculptor a shout out when I actually do get those out the bags for you guys, because it deserves a shout out for those as well, because they really are nice. Anyway, let's go down and see what Empress and Mr. Hicks have done for us this time round. Just to prove that you don't always have to paint Americans or Germans. Remember your Brits, please, because these will make fantastic painted figures. Smocks, some have got camouflage smocks on, brown leather jerkins. They've got the turtle, what I would call the turtle helmets. Might be wrong on that, but I'm not an expert. But turtle helmets, scrim on the top, so Hessian that's been put over the top. They've nearly all got shovels, the big shovels, not the tiny little ones. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful work. Let's go down and take a look. Right, guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. Actually, Gav, if you actually get the light to actually... This painting lamp gets used for everything. Right. Lee Enfield, late type. I mean, what do you think of that? Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Shovel handle you put in separately. There's a nice little dent in there for it to sit. I would think maybe, is it worth me? Might think of actually painting that separately and then putting it in, because it'll go across. The Brits at the time, all you see them in all the old black and white photographs, had all these great big entrenching. Well, they weren't the little fold-up shovels that I believe a lot of the countries wore. We just tended to give our guys like the bigger stuff on the whole, but there was a lot of digging in. German artillery, even late in the war, was extremely effective, and it was like dig as soon as you got into a position. See, they've got the cap comforters on, so let's get something to point with, Gav. So you can make them into that. They're literally a balaclava that we still have them to this day, that you can roll up. Well, I'll say this day, we had them when I was in anyway. You can roll them up and make them. If you see those Commando World War II Hats, it's just the same thing. You roll it up and it makes a hat, or you keep it as like a balaclava. So absolutely fantastic. A nice shovel there, as I say, handle. Don't worry about you'll be having mould lines. If you've never done figures before, this is your first stopping by and you do like the look of them, having a mould line, whether it's a plastic or a metal figure, it's unavoidable. So always check, usually down the leg somewhere, front and inside. Just about to see maybe a mould line there. They're a bit hard on shiny figures, but you will find a mould line. See, he's got his windproof smock on. The ubiquitous mug. Most of the Toms, British soldiers quite often call themselves Toms, not squaddies, civvies out there. Times you get, squaddies, no. British Army does not call itself squaddies, civvies call British Army squaddies. But yeah, quite often called Toms, after obviously Tommy Atkins. Might drill that out slightly. Tommy Atkins was a recruiting poster back in just before the First World War, I believe. That looks like a little pickaxe, or the little entrenching tool, I believe. Might be wrong. Lovely, absolutely lovely. Believe he's got a rope tied around him as well. Is that rope or is that just I can't be sure, to be honest with you. Or is that the leather jerkin? Might be the leather jerkin. I don't know, to be honest yet. It's weird. It's not until you actually get some primer on, you can't always see under the lights. But again, these are the type of poses you'd see in a black and white sepia photo or black and white photograph of the time. See again, this is for the non-painters out there. These are the areas you check for your mould lines. They're not hard to remove with a round file. I prefer round files on this than flat files, because you'll obviously flatten the surface area off. I tend to work with round files on most of my stuff. I use an engineering file, just a large scale one that you get at a DIY shop, and just to give the braces a flatten off a bit. Again, he's got his smock on. As I say, I don't know if I'm trying to look through this glare of the lights on top of it to see who's got smocks and who's got the jerkins and who's got both. See, they've been able to sculpt that in its entirety. But that's literally the size. If you look at black and white photographs of British infantry, they're all literally carrying these or pickaxes. Beautiful, beautiful work. Really impressive. These are the type of things that make you want to paint figures. As I say, I've got that 40k Space Marine. I enjoy getting into those type of things, because I enjoy the painting experience of painting something that isn't, because I'm obviously either painting Napoleonics or camouflage like in these, and it's nice to do an artistic side of it. But as you know, I'm a military history buff, and to get my hands on really top range figures, it's just a joy to paint them. I don't tend to keep them. Right, I've ended up with my Vietnam range, but or the Vietnam range from Empress, but I don't get to keep them, but I really enjoy painting them. So he's got the leather jerkin on, and it would appear his normal battle dress, I believe. Again, a lot of them at that time, in that winter stroke, very early, February, March time, they'd still got all the cap comforters on as balaclavas. I love the scrim on that as well. There's so much going on with these figures. It's hard even to. I had a very, very quick perusal of them, but looking at them through the viewfinder, there's so much going on with them. Again, he's got another smock on. So I believe these are normal battle dress trousers. I believe. So that's the first four. after I've gone on for ages. Right, guys, we've got our Bren gun teams. There's two, obviously majority of the figures from Empress tend to be in 4 to a bag. So you've got 2 number 1s, so that's the gunner, and then number 2s as we call them. Well, this I'm going to show you that's his number 2, carrying extra ammo, and usually the section wallet, which contains all the spare barrels and cleaning kits and any spare parts that the Bren would need. But let's get to the gunner first. His bipods all on a separate pour-in sprue. We've got an extra shovel there as well. You can see there's his the hole for the handle, so it's not hard to do. Going through the top of his backpack. Really nice. Just a tad of clean up around, that's a carrying handle, and obviously you can change the barrel at the same time. With it, well, obviously you don't want to be holding the red hot barrel unless you've got gloves. You used to be given gloves, I believe, in the section wallet as well. I might be wrong, but and this is for later on for the general purpose machine gun, which took over this. But yeah, again, lovely. I'm just trying to see if that's just, but we'll get some. It's always nice to see when people do the heels would have they'd be steel shod, so you'd have hobnails in the base and around the heel. That's a little trick to making them just look that little bit better. Lovely. And there's his number 2, which I thought was a really nice pose. Anything with that guy there, he seems to have a bit very slightly going into his face, which might need a gentle clean off. I mean, you could say it's a piece of Hessian hanging down, but he's not going to put up with that hanging across his eye, so I'd get rid of that if I was you. Again, you can see just places to check. Just clean the fingers. There's a mould line across there and down there. But beautiful, beautiful work. I say you can't get rid of mould lines, they're just one of them things. But you see, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 have seen Toms well, I don't know so much about the Far East, but definitely in Europe, as in Northwest Europe and Italy, all got their mugs of varying kind, from white enamel mugs to just tin mugs to, always ready to brew up British Army. Always ready. This here is a section wallet, and it's still, to this day, they roughly look like that. Well, say again, to this day. When I was in, what was that now, 25, 30 years ago? 25? Yeah, something like that. They roughly look like that. Always a pain in the bum carrying them around, but that's what you've got to do. I thought this was a lovely pose. I'll probably be doing this one first because I'll have a Bren group. You usually build your section around the gun group, as it used to be called. I don't know if it's called that now. But absolutely fantastic. For the people that don't like painting faces, there's not a lot of faces to paint. If you don't want to paint eyes in them, there's no problems in just putting a bit of darker shadow areas in there. You're not going to see a lot. Again, this guy, they've put glasses on. There was no if you had to wear glasses, that didn't problem. They'd provide you with service glasses. We were desperately short of men or manpower by 45, late 44. We really were in terrible manpower shortages with our commitments. Far East, Italy, and there were guys that thought they were joining the Royal Air Force, and they were told they were going to be trained as even on, to some extent, even on aircraft, and found themselves actually press ganged into the army as infantry, and there was a lot of upset over that. But we were desperately short of manpower, so people that might have not been put in the infantry because of the obviously need to be able to see down a sight, found themselves in infantry, just because we were so short of men. Right, here we are again with more riflemen, which let's be fair are the predominant of any rifle. That's why it's called a rifle company. I really like this face again. It looks a young face, you know. Again, you look at British soldiers at the time, and everybody always go, "Oh, it's always," and it wasn't always the young. You know, it's like in the First World War. A lot of the guys you see at the front in 1945 were like 35, 40 odd years old. You know, again, just either they'd been in from the start, or again, manpower shortages. Like 18 months previous, they'd been called up. Again, holes for the spade, shovel, whatever you want to call it. Oh, it's a pickaxe this time. Again, he's got his windproof on. Brilliant. Now this guy did lose, I'd noticed that earlier, he's lost his tip there. I don't think I'm going to be able to, because he's already got the barrel band in there. That'd be a metal band. I'm probably going to have to take that off, and I don't know if it's too small to pin a piece of brass rod on. I'd prefer to pin it than just super glue, because it's bound to bust off, but we'll try and repair that. I mean, it could be just plastic rod, but whatever I put on it, it's going to have to be super glue, and it's going to get knocked off fairly quick, so I'm hoping to pin that, but it's going to be a big ask. We'll see. Appears to have either a scrim or just a knitted wife or mother, sweetheart, sent him a knitted scarf maybe. Again, it's a bit until I've got this primered. Getting all the details. They've all got the pig sticker bayonet. I've got a couple of these somewhere up in the loft. Again, the big 18-inch bayonets that we'd used in the Great War, and we were using still in the Far East and in Italy, I believe. It was these were just cheap and nasty. All they are, if you see them, is just a. They're not even done to a point, hardly. They are, but they're just a round piece of metal. They're literally round, and they were called pig stickers, or nicknamed pig stickers. You know, you weren't going to be doing no lunging at a German Volksgrenadier with an 18-inch bayonet anymore. You were using these little things. Again, I like this pose. It's just cautious, you know what I mean? You're going through some town or village, and it's just cautious. Again, you just got to watch out for the mould lines. And the problem is when you've got such an amount of detail, it's tracing them. So there's one there, I believe. Not really nice. And there's our last figure. I actually prefer these type of poses than I do. I don't mind the odd, like that very first. He's the only shooting pose apart from the Bren Gunner that I believe I've got, and I don't mind that. I like these more movement type, cautious poses. You know, going forward. But you would normally have somebody covering you. You know, if you're moving, you've normally got somebody else on the street corner, you know, covering your movements. So a couple of shooting poses and a load like this is happy days for me. Now this guy doesn't have any entrenching type equipment at all. Right, this next group, he's the only one you can more or less say is giving some type of orders. I haven't brought any like commanders as such, as in, you know, officers, radio ops, all that type of stuff. I was running low on funds, to be fair, and I just needed to get a unit that I could paint and hopefully sell, and then if they do sell okay, I'll have enough figures here to add to another couple more bags, and I'll get another unit painted up as well. So he'll probably be in my first unit with a big Sten gun. These were an absolute nightmare. They very often, the times British soldiers have been killed by their own Sten guns is ridiculous. They were originally brought in because we'd captured so much Italian ammunition, I believe, in North Africa. And there's obviously different marks of Sten guns, but we captured so much Italian ammunition. It was, what do we do with it? And I thought, I know, rather than keep buying these expensive Thompsons off the Americans with all their wooden stocks and all that type of stuff, we'll do a more or less a rivet plated cheap machine gun, and we've got all this ammunition for it, which is great, but it had a nasty habit of I can't remember if you cocked it or the safety would go off. I can't remember what, but if you knocked it, it would literally just discharge, and more than one soldier's either killed himself or killed his mate, just because the Sten's been knocked and the blasted thing's gone off. So again, really nice. Making probably a corporal, lance corporal. Again, more shovel handles. So these are all Stens. Now, because of obviously how a unit's made up, I can probably only use, I would have thought, one Sten in a unit. So I've got 3 here, and only one's going to get, well, four figures, and only one's going to get used, which is the problem when you're buying a pack with all the same all the same weapons, if that makes sense. With a rifleman, it's not so bad because you need a lot of them. But again, all cracking figures. It doesn't seem too many worms and stuff on that. Just little bits, like, you know, off the very end of the butt there, butt plate. Our last one. Again, a young lad. Might be a bit of flash, yeah, there's a chunk of flash there, but it looks like the... Oh, sorry. I think it's flashing. Oh yeah, look at that. See, that's not hard. So yeah, clean that out, make sure that's all cleaned up. There you go, guys. We got there in the end. I'll just hold this as I finish off. Yeah, they are exactly as they... Well, obviously they're going to be, I know, but having them in my hands, they're exactly how I thought they'd be. Very, very impressed. The Americans and the German range, I've never painted any. I always thought they looked really nice figures, and I intended to get some at some stage. It's not massively because I'm British, although obviously I'm ex-British Army. I like to see Tom's represented in any range. I always think the Brits are often underrepresented. Everybody likes the good, you know, the fancy uniforms of the Germans, and although you couldn't say the American uniforms were fancy, but you know, they seem to like, you know, like for the Battle of the Bulge and all that stuff. And the Brits for Northwest Europe and Italy tend to get, they get made, but I don't know, I don't think a lot of love goes into them. Whereas these are exceptional, lovely figures. Very impressed. As I say, I can see what's going to happen here. See some mould lines. I'm picking the mould lines out only because they're such complicated figures in the sense of what they've got on them. You're going to really have to concentrate getting your mould lines off. Once you've done a primer, I'll guarantee you that you're going to find another one or two or a tiny little bit, you know, that's like that, and you're just going to probably have to do just another little cleanup. But they are the type of figures, and that's, again, it's not because they're being badly cast or anything. These are superb, and I'm not doing that to blow smoke up Empress's behind. I just think they really are, as a bloke who paints a lot of figures, they are exceptional quality. It's just there's so much going on with them. You're just going to have to keep your eyes open for mould lines and things like that. So check in again, guys. They're gonna be up. I've almost finished the commission I'm working on, which I haven't actually. Don't think I showed you the last unit, or I've got half painted, but I'm going to now wait till I've got the other half completely finished. So they're Royal Horse Guards, epic scale. I've based another British the epic unit that I've been painting on the side for the last 3 weeks or so. They're finally done. I'm just about to put the colour on tonight and then give them a last varnish, and so you'll see those next. No, you won't probably see them over the weekend, or I'll make a video over the weekend and it might be withheld till Monday or whatever, but they'll be going up on eBay literally you know, Sunday night or something like that probably. And I'm continuously working on that Space Marine. I need to get some scale modelling done actually. I'd like to get back on Lexington for a bit, and also, as I said to you guys, after Tom sending me that beautiful 29 Roadster, I would like to get my own 29 Roadster done, and I'd fancy trying to push that the Kawasaki motorbike done as well. But before and the Dragonfly, oh my life. All right, let's not go down that rabbit hole now. Let's just enjoy painting, Gav. but yeah, really enjoyed painting my Space Marine up, Ultramarine. I've got some other stuff, and I've got a couple of Age of Sigmar stuff. Only the little cheap bits and bobs for now. But as I say, when you paint these guys all day, it's just not, you know, different camouflages. Even the Napoleonics, you know, it's nice to have a bit of variation in painting the Space Marines and things like that. I've still got to go back to me Prussians as well. I painted the Prussian trumpeter up in suggested colours from the Mara JC, and I'm ready to go onto the flesh tones with those, so I need to get onto those the weekend as well. See, I have so many projects, it really does, it just, whatever takes my fancy, and that's what I always say on my channel. You know, I can understand it gets up the nose of people because there's no continuity. I don't pick it. I get rah about a subject, and it might take me another 4 months to complete it. You know, whether it's figures, models, whatever. But I can't really apologise for that. It's just me. It's how I am. I just paint and build what I want to do at the time. So thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. Thank you for all your continued support. Again, thanks again for the information on the Ultramarine. As I say, it is true, as one of the guys said, paint what you enjoy your way. But at the same time, I didn't want to be I suppose an outsider to that side of things, painting side of things, and do a load of stuff. Yes, it is my figure, but if it's like these guys, you know, yes, it's my figure. Would I enjoy seeing one of these painted bright pink? No. I wouldn't ever criticise somebody for doing it. They'd never hear off me, but I would just walk on by. You know, I wouldn't want to see one of these painted bright pink. But that doesn't stop the person enjoying painting in bright pink and doing whatever they want to. Fill your boots. It's just not my thing. And I didn't want to go onto that Ultramarine and do a load of stuff just that comes out of my head and get a load of people's backs up for not showing the respect to their side of a hobby that they do. So that's why I was asking the questions over that I was. And again, thank you for everybody that came back to me on that. Right, look after yourselves. Take care. I think that is the same as looking after yourselves, isn't it? And as I say, there'll be them epic videos coming up shortly. I will do a work in progress on the Ultramarine. I'll probably put a video up there towards the end of next week because I'm doing a lot of glazing and that on that, and it just takes time. Although it's not exactly going to plan at the moment, but I will go into that on the video itself. So look after yourselves. Keep doing what you do. Thanks to all the guys whose videos I watch. I really appreciate you putting them up because it keeps me company all day and most of the night. Look after yourselves, and we'll catch each other soon on another video.